and welcome. The big news update. There is now possibly a breakthrough in the standoff between the striking doctors and the West Bengal government. Junior doctors who've been protesting after a colleague at a government hospital was assaulted by the family of a patient who died had until Sunday afternoon, on the eve of their strike spilling into its second week, refused Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's appeals for talks. Now, after a reconciliatory Chief Minister on Saturday said that she accepts all valid demands of the protesting doctors and requested them to return to work, the junior doctors seem to have accepted her olive branch and have agreed to begin talks with conditions. They say in order to maintain transparency, the meeting should be open to the media and under camera coverage. The government is yet to respond. Meanwhile, it's been a harrowing week for those needing medical help at hospitals across India. Health services were paralyzed at hospitals in many states as doctors stood in solidarity with their counterparts in Bengal. The Indian Medical Association is now to hold a 24-hour nationwide protest tomorrow. All non-essential services, including OPDs, will be closed starting from 6 a.m. And caught up in the crossfire between the government and the agitating doctors are patients, left in the lurch, denied treatment for no fault of theirs, while the BJP and the TMC have turned this into a slugfest for petty political gains. And as the standoff continues, we ask, is there a trust deficit between patients and doctors? Should doctors be allowed to strike? Is the doctor strike being politicized? Joining us firstly, Dr. Biplab Chandra, one of the junior doctors on strike in Kolkata, one of the doctors present in that meeting today where it was decided that they will be meeting with the Chief Minister and begin negotiating the conditions to call off their strike. We have Dr. R.V. Asokan for the Indian Medical Association, the Secretary General and the Chairman of the IMA, Dr. Sujata Rao, former Union Health Secretary, joining us, Dr. Amrinder Singh Malhi, President of the Resident Doctors Association at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Dr. Kunal Saha, President of the People for Better Treatment, Dr. Kanika Batra Modi, Consultant and Gynecology at the Max Healthcare, and Mr. Deshrattan Nigam, political analyst, also political analyst, Professor Subrata Mukherjee joining us tonight. Dr. Biplab Chandra, first and foremost, many patients will be relieved to know that doctors are willing to come to the negotiating table. They're at least open to discussions. But I just want to clarify first, the strike is still on. You and your colleagues will still be striking tomorrow.
Actually, our colleague, they are very much eager to sit with the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, but for last few days, she was not eager to come to the NRS Medical College, and she was very much adamant. But we tried our best to solve the problem as soon as possible. Since 11th midnight, we tried to normalize the situation. But from the government end, there was no such steps were taken to normalize the situation. And today, one meeting held, and we tried to go to the Chief Minister and try to solve the whole issue, because we feel for the patient, we feel for our state people, so that the normalcy restored immediately.
You're right, we've definitely seen a change in stance, a change in tone from the West Bengal Chief Minister. But sir, yesterday the Chief Minister said that the state government is accepting of all of your demands. So what exactly are you going to discuss in this on-camera meeting?
Yeah, actually before that, several times the government officials and the ministers told that they are accepting everything. But they are not accepting, they are not implementing the things. That's why the problems are going on every day, and the infrastructural problem, the security problem, the problem prevails. That is why our request was that we have to sit with him and the representative from different colleges, all the medical colleges in West Bengal should sit with her and then come to a conclusion, come to a solution. Otherwise no solution can be achieved. Before the discussion, how she can tell that everything has been sorted out or everything has been solved? It is not the fact.
Fair enough. And so obviously, one, there's a trust deficit over here, and two, we've seen what's happened in the past with other governments who have said they would accept demands and it hasn't been achieved. Dr. Asokan, so now that you've heard what the government of West Bengal is saying, and these doctors in Kolkata with whom you're standing in solidarity, they're saying they're willing to talk. Does this mean the nationwide protest tomorrow is going to go ahead?
There are two objectives to the nationwide protest tomorrow. The first and primary objective is to put an end to such a menace permanently. We are seeking a comprehensive solution. The law that we are demanding is a comprehensive one. There are three components to it. One is punishment of the perpetrators of violence, and the second is the security aspect, which has to be defined, declaring hospitals as safe zones, and the third is to build in the preventive measures for the determinants of the violence, going to the root of the violence. So, this is a comprehensive law that is we are demanding.
What do you mean by a comprehensive law?
Violence is not an isolated phenomenon that comes on a spurt of a moment. There are lot of causes behind why it is happening. Starting from
so my point is, you're saying you want a law, but so there are 26 pending laws currently, bills with this government, the NDA government alone since 2014. A law is not going to happen overnight, and certainly not in the period of a day when you're going to have this nationwide protest, where many patients are still going to be put out of sorts.
We have been blamed for inappropriate response to such incidents, and that affects the image of the profession, and we will be continuously blamed that we are the people who are neglecting poor patients. So, we are seeking a solution before the people of India. There should be a comprehensive solution. So, any law not only should punish the perpetrator and be a deterrent, but also provide a solution.
Okay, but I'm still not convinced how a day-long strike will lead to that, because it's not going to happen overnight. But so on the other hand, 19 states already have a law, right, including West Bengal, including Maharashtra, where we've seen such attacks on doctors and medical professionals. The Medical Protection Act is in place. It has a jail term for 3 years. It has a fine of 50,000 rupees. But obviously, the implementation is not there.
What is the conviction rate? Who has been convicted under all these 19 laws? Not even a single conviction in all these years.
So, why would the new law that you are asking for be any different?
The amendments to the CRPC and the Indian Penal Code have not happened.
Correct.
In the field, it doesn't work.
So, why don't you demand that? That it should be in the IPC or the CRPC, none of them feature this act, instead of asking for a new law.
New law is for the comprehensive solution. Amendments to IPC and CRPC are different. We are asking for a law along with the amendments to CRPC and IPC.
Got it. But sir, in the process, there's a 3-day-old child has died in Midnapur. Now, the parents are alleging it is because of this strike in West Bengal. They went and protested outside the agitating doctors with the body of that 3-day-old child. And I'm sure, for those parents, they're going to have to live with this question for the rest of their lives. What if? What if the child was treated? What if there was no strike? What if they were in a different state? What if, the mother gave birth somewhere else?
What do you think is the cause for 7-day strike? It's not that the solution was not available. The demands were simple, basic, straightforward. A leader who was flexible, amenable, empathizing to the situation, and realizing the demands of the doctors are genuine and bona fide, would have considered it on the first day.
We didn't have to take 7 days to reach this position, is what you're saying. Okay, let's go across to Dr. Kunal Saha, who's joining us now, also from Kolkata. You're the president of the People for Better Treatment. Dr. Saha, you've written a letter to the health minister. You say he must take measures to stop these unlawful doctors. He says the strike is unlawful. You're saying that the strike proposed by the IMA is unlawful. There should be exemplary disciplinary action against the striking doctors. You say that they are doing, I mean, this is misconduct and they're willfully disregarding the Supreme Court order that says doctors cannot strike. Why?
Yes, I didn't say this. These are the words taken from Supreme Court of India's judgment in our case 2012 writ petition. There was a PIL against IMA where the Supreme Court in 2014 said that doctors have no right to strike. Doctor strike should be deemed as negligence per se, and misconduct, disciplinary action must be taken. Now, IMA, we filed the case against IMA. IMA is very well aware of this observation by Supreme Court of India, but they are calling another doctor strike now. So it is a contemptuous act against Supreme Court of India. So that's court of contempt of court. But then I'm a doctor myself. All my colleagues are doctors. They practice here. The oath we have, whether we have literally taken Hippocratic oath or not, we don't support doctor beating. I have written, our website say that. This is wrong idea. One wrong cannot fix another wrong. But it is also wrong for the doctors to assume that all the criminals are beating them up. The root cause of these doctor attacks are not even discussed here. The problem is government hospitals. Do doctors are beaten up only in government hospitals? No. Private hospitals, it also happens frequently. So infrastructure, yes, I support IMA or doctors' demand that government should spend more GDP on healthcare and government hospitals should have more infrastructure. But this problem of doctor bashing, they are harping on the wrong tree.
All right.
I talk with thousands of people, they come here and they complain because they're so frustrated when they see somebody dies in front of their own eyes and the justice is not there. Medical council, they only protect the doctors, they don't give justice. And court of law, well, I went there, it's very cumbersome.
There is a trust deficit. So there's a trust deficit clearly between patients and doctors. That needs to be fixed. But Dr. Saha, I'm so sorry to dredge this up again.
Absolutely.
Make you relive your memories. But the fact is, you lost your wife to medical negligence. She was also, like you, a doctor in the US when you were visiting India a few years ago. And your case actually was a watershed moment in India's legal history, where 3 doctors were held responsible for your wife's death. And it marked the highest compensation ever ordered in a case of medical negligence in India. So you faced personal loss yourself, which is why you feel that you have the right and which is why you are speaking out today.
Yes, and I'm a doctor and a victim both, and I'm not alone. Those who are doctors today will become a patient another day, and some of them may fall victim, and we have people like that. These 23 doctors have come to us after they have fallen victims themselves. Now they come and demand justice. But those doctors, thousands and thousands of doctors in India, they should think it this way, that we are doctor today, but we may be patient tomorrow. Your son may have a problem and may fall victim. Top lawyers are falling victims. Chief Justice of India, ex-Chief Justice, fallen victim of medical negligence. So look, the trust has to be rebuilt. The only way it could be rebuilt is by building trust in the people that yes, there will be a fair process of justice. Just simple question, think about it. I graduated from India, but last 25 years I'm in USA. I've seen both sides. Now, my doctors in USA cannot even imagine people attacking them. Why? Is there no negligence here? In America, there is negligence, and there are big judgments given, and doctors' licenses are cancelled all the time. It is transparent. You can see permanent cancellation of license happen many, many times in USA. Not a single in the history of Indian medicine. See, the problem is the root of the problem is there.
There's no accountability.
Because medical councils are
Dr.
a rotten
Sukul, would you like to
body
respond?
in India.
Are all the doctors united on this issue?
All the doctors in India have been either verbally or physically been assaulted. There is no doctor who has not been assaulted.
Correct.
This is the situation. So the situation in West Bengal is only the last spark. So if the society and the Constitution of India is unable to provide security to the doctors, we would rather return all our medical registrations and be common citizens of India who are better protected.
Fair enough. The IMA has done a study that says 75% of doctors have been assaulted, right? Dr. Amrinder Singh, please come in over here. Where does the Resident Doctors Association of AIMS stand on this matter right now, given the change in stance that we've seen from the Chief Minister and the junior doctors now saying they're willing to talk?
Currently, right now, the situation is all the junior doctors in NRS MCH college, they want to talk to the Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of West Bengal, and she is also a health minister. The thing is, she don't want to come in front of the media. She just said right now that just we need two. They are demanding 5 from each college, and she is demanding that just 2 from each college can come, and just 10 or 20 persons, 20 residents then come to meet me, not in front of the open house. So this is.
So you don't think nitpicking ho rahi hai? Like, I mean, should both sides just need to compromise? If the Chief Minister has made a U-turn, she's stepped down, she's giving an olive branch, the patients' lives are at stake. Should not both sides just compromise, come to the table and let's sort it out?
Actually, we have got our representative is there in the MCH college right now, and we are continuously talking to them, and we are telling them that you just, if she is not coming, you should go to her, whether she is calling you to her
Sir,
office.
आप सही बात कह रहे हो. मुझे लग रहा है जो आप कह रहे हो कि सीनियर डॉक्टर्स जूनियर डॉक्टर्स को एडवाइस कर रहे हैं कि be more flexible.
Actually, from last 18 or 12 hours. We are continuously talking to them.
So senior doctors are not in agreement with junior doctors. You think the junior doctors are being little rigid in their stance?
हमारी तरफ से from AIMS RDA continuously उनसे talking कर रहे हैं और उनको suggestions भी दे रहे हैं कि what to do next and what not to do. So from our point of view हम उनको यही बोल रहे हैं कि बार-बार कि आप अगर वो नहीं आ रही, आप दिखाओ लोगों को कि हम पेशेंट्स के साथ हैं और आप उनके पास जाओ. अगर वो नहीं आ पा रही आपके पास, आप उनके पास एक बार जाके तो देखो. लेट्स सी.
पॉइंट तो ये है सर कि वो रिटर्न में सब कुछ रिटर्न में यहाँ पे आकर हमें मिलिए.
रिटर्न में सब कुछ लो, रिटर्न में सब कुछ ले लो कि सेंट्रल सिक्योरिटी एक्ट स्टेट में इंप्लीमेंटेशन होना चाहिए, वो लो. अगर आज के बाद अगर दोबारा कुछ होता है तो फिर हम इंडेफिनिट स्ट्राइक पे जाएंगे, वो लो. वो एक बार बात तो स्टार्ट हो. लेट्स We have to start.
आपकी एडवाइस क्या है? क्या आप कह रहे हो कि कल स्ट्राइक होनी चाहिए या दे शुड शायद डू अ सिंबॉलिक स्ट्राइक एंड एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट सम ट्रीटमेंट जब तक नेगोशिएशंस ऑन है? आपकी एडवाइस क्या है?
एडवाइस इज वेरी सिंपल. पेशेंट भी सफर नहीं होना चाहिए. ऑन द सेम टाइम हमारे को इंसाफ भी मिलना चाहिए. जितने भी रेजिडेंट उधर धरने पे भी बैठे हुए हैं, स्ट्राइक पे बैठे हुए हैं, उनको हमेशा यही लग रहा है कि हम क्यों जाएं, क्यों काम पे जाएं. सबसे पहले आज डर क्यों बैठ गया है? पुलिस अधिकारी को आज एक बात कर दो आप, तो क्या होता है? तो उसी वक्त लॉकर में डाल देता है. उनको पता है कि आज किसी को पुलिस को छेड़ेंगे तो वो उसमें डाल देंगे. डर है. आज मीडिया पर्सन है, कोई मीडिया बाइट देने के लिए रेडी नहीं होता. तो आप क्या, सेलिब्रिटी भी कोई आ जाए तो आप कितना उछालते हो? मीडिया में कितना उछालोगे?
नहीं होती है आज.
नो, होता है. दैट इज ऑलवेज देयर. आप मीडिया में उछालते हो. डर है. डॉक्टर पेशेंट के मन में डॉक्टर के प्रति डर ही नहीं है. उसके लिए मैंने हम आरडीए की एम्स की तरफ से हमने एक सोचा है कि आज के बाद प्रिवेंशन इज ऑलवेज बेटर देन क्योर.
करेक्ट.
हमने सोचा है कि जब से हमारे पास एक जो लॉ बना हुआ है उसका प्ले कार्ड लेके हर डॉक्टर अपने चाहे बैग में, चाहे अपने ओपीडी के बाहर, जहां आईसीयू के बाहर, हर अगर पेशेंट हिंदी में समझता है उसका हिंदी में लगाया जाए. इंग्लिश लगता है इंग्लिश में लगाया जाए.
एक चीज बताइए हमें, अगर मैं इफ आई एम राइट, कोई सालों पहले एम्स में एक प्रोटेस्ट हुई थी, डॉक्टर स्ट्राइक पे गए थे क्योंकि एक सीनियर डॉक्टर ने जूनियर डॉक्टर को मार दिया था. करेक्ट. तो असॉल्ट समटाइम्स इवन टेक प्लेस इवन बाय अ डॉक्टर. नहीं हो
सकता है. We are all impulsive. It can happen. What we can do for that? हम इसीलिए स्ट्राइक पे उसी टाइम पे भी आए थे, बट उसमें हमने स्ट्राइक कॉल ऑफ की थी बाद में.
Got it. Okay. Mr. Deshnath, you heard Dr. Asokan. He's saying that there should be a central law. Should that not then be directed at Dr. Harshvardhan? You're hearing Dr. Harshvardhan blame the Chief Minister of West Bengal for her intransigence for us reaching where we are today. But it sounds like, sir, you should be protesting outside the central government if you want a central law.
See, the fact remains, you can make a law, but implementation at the end of the day would be in the hands of the state government, because law and order is their situation. And it is there in their control, and what we saw in West Bengal was clearly the breakdown of law and order machinery. Truckload of people came, attacked and went away, and no action was taken. This is breakdown of law and order situation. Then threatening the doctors took place by the Chief Minister and the Health Minister, one and the same person. And in ordinary circumstances, what should have been done by the CM is in taking this as a serious crime, register an FIR, pick up all those people who came here and put them behind bars, let the law take its own course. This did not happen. And then coming to SSKM hospital, threatening them, escalated the entire situation, then blaming the outsiders, then saying it is the BJP and the CPM are playing politics with it, and then entire issue got communalized. Why? Because a particular section of a community was involved, and they came. And if she had taken the steps in at the first instance, it would have been a simple law and order and a situation where crime had to be dealt with. Not taking an action against them resulted into the communalizing of the situation.
Has there been no action taken against them?
4 people have been arrested who are not connected with the case. That is what my report is.
Okay, but I have a question.
And therefore,
it
is not expected of a CM to threaten its own people, to threaten the doctors, and you are not an ordinary politician. For God's sake, you are the Chief Minister of a state. You are not even a leader of a position who is supposed to do dharna.
But Mr. Nigam, this is not the first time this has happened, and it's not West Bengal. Why is
I was coming to that.
Minister,
I was coming to that.
No, you have a BJP MP, Anand Kumar Hegde, who is on camera. Let's play that footage out. He's beating up a doctor. He holds him up against the wall.
All those things are wrong. I'm telling
but
you.
But no action has been taken against him. He was given another ticket in this election.
Let me make a distinction.
If Dr. Harshvardhan feels so strongly about doctors, he should have
surely
spoken up and said that Anand Kumar Hegde should not be given a ticket.
This is not about BJP. Please remember.
Is it about TMC? Because it happens in all states. You are not raising this issue in West Bengal, in Maharashtra and Karnataka.
Let me make a distinction here. These kind of incidents have taken
Shots
place.
are playing. You can see it.
Yes. Nobody can approve of such kind of a behavior. None of us out here. Let us be very, very clear. Such kind of incidents have taken place all over India. But I have never seen a Chief Minister coming out and threatening the doctors. This has happened for the first time in the history of medical history or otherwise history. This escalated the situation. It could have been diffused in the first instance, FIR, register those FIRs, arrest them, let law and order take its own course. This is where the entire machinery under the patronage of the Chief Minister went wrong, and the other TMC leaders went to the extent of saying we'll rape the doctors, female doctors, and throw acids. This is where the situation got escalated.
I can't verify that, so I don't want to get into that right now. But Professor Mukherjee, this is a clear cut. First and foremost, this is complete misgovernance on the ground, which is why we've reached where we are. Dr. Ashokan is saying this. Everybody's saying 7 days. We're going to enter the second week of the strike.
First, let's look to the strike. It's a catcall strike. It was not a proper notice was given and things like that. And then it also a larger question that if the doctor's action is appropriate with the Hippocratic oath already there and the Supreme Court judgment.
No, sir.
And they could wear a black badge.
The government's response.
I'm coming to that. Okay, black badge. And now all the things that are being said against the state administration, I think is grossly partisan. Because if you really look to the action of the Chief Minister even at the beginning, she made it very clear that action will be taken if you don't resume duty. That I think any head of the administration is bound to say. Now, if you really look to the larger issue.
Sir, just respond. Mr. Nigam says that no arrests have taken. 4 people have been arrested who are not connected. It doesn't, Mr. Nigam says, I can't verify this, but so you please respond that not corrective action has not been taken against the attackers. First and foremost, if that was made clear, if they were made an example of, then we would not be here.
Immediately.
Well, attackers, it's a highly disputed thing. Actually, today, a tape is being circulated where people are saying that, you know, there were outsiders, but it's a highly contested thing.
No, so what's contested? We have
Just
a doctor who is injured
contested between who really brought in the outsiders and created the law and order problem. There should be a proper inquiry for that, and then guilty should be punished. Now, if you really look to the issue concerned, it's very unfortunate and the doctor is terribly hurt, but then 4 of the relations who assaulted him are in jail and no bail has been granted to them, and I think over a period of time things will normalize. But now coming to the root problem, that Bengal is not the only state where it happens, but it happens much more in West Bengal than other states. The reason
You're admitting that.
There is no medical audit in Bengal.
You're saying so?
Okay.
You are saying so that this happens more in West Bengal than other states?
It definitely happens more in Bengal.
Okay.
Bengal is a much more violent state. You look to what happens in presidency on Jadavpur.
Look at the elections.
You see, so it is a violent state. We should accept that fact and then think of remedial measures. But why does it happen that there is so much of alienation between the patient and the doctor? The first most important point, there is no medical audit in Bengal. In All India Institute of Medical Sciences, there is one. PGI, Chandigarh, there is one. And then I give you some important things that NABH.
So, healthcare is a state subject and the health minister, the chief minister is the health minister.
Of course.
And she is not a new chief minister.
No, I'm just telling you the problems. You know that why there is such a big gulf between the patients and the doctor. Of course, there is overcrowding and number of doctors are much less than required. But even you cannot get a medical report in Bengal. You see, that is the situation. So, in that kind of a situation, and there is also a class character in it, because the middle class has moved away from government hospitals, but this alienation has a larger historical roots. I will give you an example that when Dr. Rajendra Prasad wanted an operation.
But I think what Mr. Nigam and what others are saying, if we had seen the attackers cracked down upon right away, perhaps we would not be where we are. But let's go across. Sujata Rao joins us. Ms. Rao, you've been health secretary. You've been on both sides. You were in government when there was that strike at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and now you're out, so you know both sides. What would you say now that Mamata Banerjee has offered an olive branch finally? Should these junior doctors still be on strike?
Well, my position is that once the Chief Minister has said she accepts all the demands and, requests the doctors to resume duty for the sake of patients, they should have relented and they should go back. I really don't see how that is a weakening of their position, because now, for a week they've held out. The message they've given to the country as a whole is loud and clear. The kind of support they got across the country was amazing, and they made the point. Now the issue is to see and hold not only just Mamata, every state government accountable to the demands that they're making, which are basically, Sarah, this issue cannot be just seen as one-off law and order thing. There is a whole culture of violence that's coming up. It's a writing on the wall. It's a icing on the cake to say that this is just the last straw that the doctors have had, and it is erupted. But this kind of beating up doctors and the scuffle with patients has been going on in every state for quite some time, and we have not really done much. And why does it happen? As the previous speaker said, the doctors are overworked. The facilities are not very good in the government hospitals. The patients have to wait for a long time. So, it's both the patients and the doctors, both are very at their edge in any government hospital. So, it's so easy to see that this could happen. Now, the second point is, it has so much to do with the systems, in the sense that we don't have an accountability framework. There are also instances where, just remember one thing, a statistic which might point out to where we are. It's okay to find fault with Mamata Banerjee and find fault with the patient's violence. But in India, 15% of deaths are due to medical errors. So that's a very high statistic. Our quality parameters, any parameter you take, we're 20 times worse than any other developed country. So there is a whole range of issues that are getting involved, where the situation today is a whole decline in the trust deficit between patients and doctors. And then, you know, when, as you said rightly, politicians beat up doctors, nothing happens. That you remember in Madhya Pradesh, ABVP students went and beat up a professor, nothing happens. So, you know, when this culture of violence is accepted and no action is taken, the people also follow that model. So I think I support the doctors' demand for security and other demands that they've made. Governments must take more interest, but it's just not a one-off thing. I feel they should get back to their duties, because in all this game of politics, patients cannot be made to suffer anymore.
So the India-Pakistan match is not the only game that's going on right now.
And I really feel they should get back to work.
All right, Dr. Ashokan, please come in here. The urgency with which the IMA has come to the support, you know, the righteousness with which we have seen, and absolutely right, no doctor while working should be beaten up, should be attacked. We don't see the same kind of swift response when it comes to cases of medical negligence. The former health secretary is saying the rates of medical negligence by doctors and hospitals in India much higher than in the West.
I don't have that figure, but I do have the figure of American Medical Association, where more than 13% of the deaths are due to iatrogenic causes or medical causes. In such a developed society, it still exists. And that is limitation of the science. Limitation of the science. It is inbuilt into it. It's not a absolute black and white science.
That's going to be a little solace to Dr. Saha, who lost his wife. A doctor losing his wife at the hands of 3 other doctors. आप कुछ कहना चाहते थे सर इसके बारे में?
Yes.
हाँ बताइए.
One
second, Ma'am Rao.
Why there is discrepancy between developed country and developing countries? Why? First of all, doctor to patient ratio, it is 1:1000 in India.
Correct.
Yeah. And
1:11,000.
For example, I am giving you an informal example. I am a cardiac radiologist. First of all, I am a radiologist. I have to do 150 to 200 scans per day. And they, in USA, UK and Australia, they have to do just 7 scans per day. 7 CTs per day. We have to report at least 50 to 60 CTs per day. And in UK and USA, they have to report just 5 to 6 MRI per day. And we have to report at least 30 to 40 per day.
Correct.
So just think over it. Workload is heavy. There has to be little bit mistakes have to be there. These are bound to happen. These are bound to happen.
And I would like to add to this.
Ma'am, you know, I want to come across to you because Dr. Sujata Rao actually says that in government hospitals you hear of people attacking the medical fraternity, the doctors, but in private hospitals also you see this. It's VIPs, there's the VIP culture. Everybody thinks they should be treated first.
So it's not just about the VIP culture. There is also a breach of security that we have even in the private hospitals. Mobs come despite there being security guards present. There still have been breaches despite all that. And I mean, private hospital or no, I mean, an individual is at stake. Their security, a doctor's security is at threat. I feel insecure so many times myself because the mistrust is there. The basic thing that the mistrust has come in between the patient-doctor relationship. That is what is the basic cause of all these things.
The basic mistrust. Okay. Yeah. We also have Abhinandan Mondal joining us from Kolkata. He is an intern doctor. He's representing his medical college. He says he's representing his medical college. Sir, जो आप कह रहे थे 5 लोग जाएंगे या 10 लोग जाएंगे, मगर कह रहे कि Dr. Abhinandan Mondal will be among the doctors representing his college when that meeting, if that meeting ever happens, takes place with the Chief Minister. Mr. Mondal, अभी सुजाता राव कह रही थी कि you doctors have actually got what you wanted. The whole country is with you. The whole country is aware of this issue, and India-Pakistan match is on, and we are focusing on this issue tonight. You've gotten what you wanted. Surely it's time to get back to work.
No, before I really start, I would just like to flash my ID card to prove that I am a student of a medical college and not an outsider, as had been widely alleged. But a lot has been spoken about the Doctors' Protection Acts. But what about the Consumer Forum Acts, as one of the doctors have rightly spoken about? You know, on one hand, we see that out of 48,85,877 cases that have been filed since its inception, around 44 lakh cases have been disposed with a striking rate of 91.03%. And on the other hand, on the Doctors' Protection Act, none of the perpetrators have been punished as of yet. So where is the security that we have been talking about all this while? We must assure you that the doctors are performing and treating patients at an extremely difficult level. The people must understand this. And the doctors have spoken about 75% of us face any form of assault. But let me tell you, it's just the reported events. What about our mental assaults that we face every single day, and that every patient that we treat, we know that if something goes wrong, we will be lynched to death. It's not just about the lynching of a doctor that we are concerned about. It's the lynching of any person, be it a doctor, be it a lawyer. Has anybody condemned that lynching is wrong? Have we got any statement regarding that what you have done is wrong? Leave aside punishments and, you know, any sort of thing like that.
No,
And
it is wrong. We all agree that it's wrong. And I think I heard one doctor at the protests on Friday saying, how can anybody work under conditions of fear? How can you be fearful of the person you're treating, that somebody could turn on you? Dr. Saha, if you could just respond to one of your colleagues. We have, Abhinandan, an intern doctor here, raising some valid points.
I agree that what he is trying to say, that the new laws against this doctor bashing is not implemented. That's fine, it should be implemented if there is a law. But the bottom line, making new laws is not going to stop doctor bashing. We will be fooling ourselves if we think, okay, give 10 years imprisonment and nobody will beat up doctors. The cause is frustration. When you lose your loved one and you know you're not going to get justice in medical council, then you have no way of getting justice against the doctor. They take laws into their own hands and try to beat up the doctors. So why the IMA and doctors, my doctor friends, don't try to understand? You have to rebuild public trust. If public trust is rebuilt, nobody will beat up the doctor. Evidence in USA, in UK, they don't beat up doctors because they know their peers in medical board or medical council and court of law will punish the guilty doctors. But in India, that trust is not there.
Yes, you made that point.
Their son dies from negligence.
Dr. Abhinandan, I want to ask you, now that Mamata Banerjee has said she's accepting your demands, what are you going to discuss with her in this open meeting that the press is going to be there? It's all going to be on camera.
Yeah, actually, we have had these discussions before with several levels of the health ministry, but we haven't had any proper guidelines in place. And this has been spoken about for a long time now. And I would just like to rebuttal Dr. Saha's comment regarding the difference between the East and the West. For there, I would like to add a point that, you know, the new India or the new generation of Indians look towards mass media for, you know, inspirations. And in the West, we have shows like, you know, House MD and Grey's Anatomy, which glorifies doctor. And what are the Indian counterparts of that? Munna Bhai MBBS or something like a Dr. Gulati from one of the comedy shows? Doctors have forever been a subject of, you know, mockery, you know, in the public's life. And that is where we have gone wrong, because you have to understand, when 200 people from one area believes that hitting a doctor is correct and they can go, you know, get away with it, how can you feel just a law can be enough? I believe there's something wrong with the society.
It's interesting you say that. That's a very interesting point, but also many would say, growing up, we all, honestly, like my grandmother told me she wanted me to become a doctor. I have disappointed her by not doing that. So a lot of parents really want their children to be doctors. We treat doctors as gods on one hand, but now that you mentioned this, do you feel these attacks are taking place all over the country? Do you feel that politicians are using your protests to settle their political scores?
Obviously, doctors have forever been a soft target. Well, let me tell you, my Chief Minister has always been a supporter of minorities. Well, I must assure her that the doctors are the worst hit minorities out of all. You know, we are a population of maybe 2 or 3%. Are we not big enough to be a vote bank to be taken seriously?
According to studies,
we are
it's
the
one
minorities that
doctor
must be
to
looked into.
11,000 patients. And the WHO says
Exactly. Look at the ratios.
1100.
Yeah.
What did I say?
700.
1000.
Sorry. One doctor
Exactly,
to 1100 patients is
1,000
the
to be
statistic.
very good.
Yeah.
So you are a minority, you're right.
Yes, and then when you hit doctor, exactly, we are a minority that needs to be looked into. and that is why we are the soft targets. We have been compared to the army and the policemen as an assault being an occupational hazard. Well, it can never be an occupational hazard. Our occupational hazard is being infected with chickenpox while we are treating a patient, or being pricked with an HIV or hepatitis B needle while being, treating a patient. That is our occupational hazard. The army, I have immense respect for them, but they are trained and they are armed. What do we have? A little bit of knowledge, a little bit of skill, and a stethoscope. Do we deserve this? Are we there to fight our own people? No. And that is why we ask for security. And we ask security from these policemen and this army. And that is what our demand is all about. Let's not blow it out of proportion. It's just a request for security, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, well said. But so, there are repercussions of all of this. One, of course, we have the issue of the brain drain. And there are parents now, after seeing the increasing number of attacks we're seeing on doctors, certainly of well-off parents, well-off backgrounds, may want their kids not to do this. There are other options for children today which there wasn't in the past. You may have doctors wary of taking on critical cases. So let's try and do we have doctors? Anyone? Go ahead.
So hello, my name is Dr. Shivam Upadhyay, and my father, he himself is a doctor, and he willingly pushed me into this. So we still don't have there's a section of the society that still believes in the glory of this profession.
That's a noble profession.
I am proud of it. I am proud of a doctor seeing it. I have faced this situation when I was a kid. My father's hospital has had this situation, and now I myself am a doctor.
Is he your father was a government doctor?
He was a government doctor, and then he went out of the system, and he now has a private institution. And
so when you face a situation as a child, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because there were people. It's like a trend in my area. Breaking the hospital property is a trend there.
Yeah.
Every other casualty that was there, the onus was laid upon my father, and I have seen that happen. And then I have faced this myself during my duties in the government hospital, and so it's been years, and I haven't had faced a change in the face of the society. It's not just the uneducated pack, but also the better section of the society that. They have this gross lack of, respect and recognition towards us. And it's been prevalent for a long time.
So why did you decide to go into this?
I told you, I'm proud of it. I believe in the glory of the profession. I believe, we are into this because we've been instilled with the spirit of serving the people. And that's not going to die because we have to have our head bashed against something because of it.
So what do you think, should the doctors, there's one point of view that says that, look, you can have a symbolic protest, but at least get back to work. If these negotiations don't pan out the way you're saying, as doctor here is saying, then go back to strike.
Nobody intended this to go this far, to these extremes. Nobody intended for this. They had one simple demand, that had one simple suggestion. Like sir said, it had to come in an immediate effect. The problem that has been extended to so many days does not lie totally on the doctors.
But now shall we enter the second
They are
week?
only demanding
Are you also a
transparency,
doctor?
that's it.
Yes, I'm also.
Okay. What's your response?
Yeah, actually the thing is, it's a simple, the simple demand is that at least just get us the security. And what everybody is trying to put the blame on the doctors, that people's life is at stake. I'd like to clarify this, the emergency services are still on. Nobody's life is being at stake.
A three-day-old child has lost her life. Parents are saying it's because of the strike. She wasn't treated.
And try to go and face the ground reality. That 3-year-old child died because during the protest barricading, he could not enter the various hospitals, and he died even before consulting the doctors. If you like,
so you're admitting
even before consulting the doctors. Had the child entered the emergency services, he would not have been denied.
Who was protesting outside?
the emergency services are still on.
No, but who was protesting
even on
outside? Who
14th
were the
of June,
protesters that didn't allow this parent to take
those
a
were the
3-day-old
people-
child straight to the emergency
Those
he's
were the
saying-
people
what
employed
he's
in the
saying is that
OPDs and the wards.
Barricading, police barricading prevented her from.
Because of
Yes,
a strike
that's
being
what I'm trying
called.
to tell.
No,
Because of
there's
a
no
strike being
The
called, police
strike,
barricaded,
the
right?
doctors
There
on
is
strike
no
were
law and
from the
order
wards and the
problem.
OPDs. They were not from the emergency services. The emergency services are still on. A patient had been operated yesterday, and the doctors on strike donated their blood to save the patient's life.
Honestly, it's
Nobody's
a bit
life
naive.
is
Isn't
being
it?
at stake.
Is it naive to say that no patients are affected? Whoever needs
Yes, I'm telling you,
emergency
the patients
treatment
are
is treated.
affected.
You know, We the People, our producer Ruby Dhingra was on the ground at AIMS on Friday, and she spoke with many people who have come from all different parts of the country. She spoke with somebody who said they had an operation scheduled for Friday, then the strike was called on Friday, and that person doesn't know when she'll be treated. So does she stay in Delhi on the road, on the pavement over the weekend, on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday what happens? Because Monday again the IMA has called for a day-long strike.
I'm Dr. Priyanshu from AIMS Resident Doctor Association. I would like to emphasize the fact that in AIMS, as you said, the routine OPDs and routine surgeries were definitely affected. The faculty was manning the OPDs and the routine OTs. The resident doctors were on strike, but from Saturday onward, we have actually rescheduled the Friday's appointments for surgeries and OPDs for Saturday. We worked for full day instead of the half day on Saturday, and in the coming week also we are trying a level best so that the patients who were rescheduled get an appointment and get their surgery. We also want that the patient should not suffer, but we have been placed between a rock and a hard place. It's not like this is the last resort a doctor would do. We gave our representation to the health minister and to the state government also, but for the first 3 days nobody responded. So this was the last resort we had to do.
You're right, rock in a hard place. And is it not a disservice to the doctors? This is a very serious issue that you all are talking about. It's completely gotten politicized. Do you think the issue, really the rug has been pulled out from under your feet?
We always emphasize the fact that we don't have any affiliation with any political parties or any community. We doctors serve the communities irrespective of their caste, creed or religion. We don't want anything political to happen. This incidences of attacks on doctors have happened in every state, ruled by every political party. So we categorically state that we have instructed our representatives also to stay away from any political statement, to stay away from any political parties. That is what we have said. And
Let's take a break. Let's come back and talk to the other representatives, students, doctors here in the audience. Where's the healing touch? That's really what we need to look at right now. Let's quickly take a break and come back with more. Welcome back. Junior doctors are known to be the backbone of hospitals. They assist the senior doctors. They prepare medical reports. They work in outpatient departments, in emergency wards, indoors, outdoors. But they are now protesting. They're saying they fear for their lives sometimes. And how can you work if you fear your patient? Let's get some reactions on We the People. आप कुछ कहना चाहते थे? आप डॉक्टर हो?
No, I'm not a doctor, but I'm supposed to be a patient someday. Okay. First of all, I want to make point that violence at any cost, it is not acceptable, it is condemnable. But still, I want to blame IMA that it has politicized the whole issue. We have several instances of assaults on doctor in Sarojini Naidu Hospital in Uttar Pradesh. Anant Hegde had beaten up. Where was IMA then? Now, talking about Dr. Kafil Khan, he is suffering still. IMA never raised any question over that. Now we see Dr. Payal Tadvi, recent 4 weeks back, she killed herself due to casteist remark. IMA never reacted on these issues. And still, if the doctors are protesting, I request them, don't do a full-fledged protest, just have a symbolic protest, as he is protesting with black billag on his pocket. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I think some very valid points. Dr. Ashokan, I'll give you a chance to respond. आप भी बोलना चाहते हैं कुछ?
जैसे जापान में अगर आप देखेंगे वहाँ जो प्रोटेस्ट होता है उनका तरीका कुछ अलग होता है कि अगर उनको प्रोटेस्ट करना है तो अपने वर्क जो कम नहीं करते उसे बढ़ा देते हैं. तो आप पेशेंट को सफ़र ना करवा के, क्योंकि आप अगर गवर्नमेंट में जाएंगे, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में जाएंगे, अगर आप लॉ बनवा लेते हैं उसका इम्प्लीमेंट कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा अगर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ना चाहे तो, क्योंकि जो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है वो पूरा स्टेट के पास में है. तो आप अपना सर्व को और बढ़ा दीजिए ताकि पीपल जो सपोर्ट करे, जब जनता है वो भी आपको और सपोर्ट करेगी, आपका ट्रस्ट और बढ़ेगा.
Anyone likes to respond कि why is there mistrust in doctors? कोई है? हाँ.
I just want to add like कि होता क्या है जब किसी भी गवर्नमेंट डिस्पेंसरी या डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल में पेशेंट्स आते हैं तो एक पहली चीज़ जो डॉक्टर्स को फेस करनी होती है वो है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का. वहाँ पे जैसे बीइंग मैं डेंटल फेटर्निटी से हूँ तो हमारी डेंटल चेयर जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल्स की होती हैं वो इतनी वर्किंग नहीं होती, तो उसकी वजह से जो एक लाइन लगी होती है पेशेंट्स की उसके ट्रीटमेंट में लैग करता है, तो जिसकी वजह से पेशेंट पहले से इरिटेटेड होता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो इरिटेशन बढ़ते बढ़ते वो असॉल्ट तक भी उसका एक कारण पहुंच सकती है. तो इसलिए अगर
but there's no condoning assault. You agree? Yes. Okay. You're a doctor?
I'm a medical student and I feel the two main problems are, first is lack of trust between doctor and patient, and second is infrastructure. And I am pursuing MBBS from Army College, so I feel in Army College and Government College there is very vast difference. Like the infrastructure in Army hospital is very good, the doctor-patient ratio, and second there is always a fear in the patient that if he or she misbehave then strict action will be taken because there is a rank and everything. So if this is implemented, like infrastructure, if we improve the infrastructure and if there is fear in the patient, like if we put bouncers and bodyguards.
But there are bouncers and bodyguards, Dr. Modi is saying already, and nobody listens. But
in emergency,
we need the laws, we have the laws, these laws need to be implemented. This is a very serious issue. I'm glad we could touch upon it a little bit at least today. I'm sure it's not going to go away. Certainly not, because the IMA is going ahead with its nationwide strike. So difficult times ahead for patients, for any one of us, or if our loved ones fall sick, it's going to be a trying week ahead. Thank you so much for joining us tonight despite that big match. Good night.